welcome to this newest episode of Generation BTS, the podcast where we review BTS albums. Today we're here to talk about Indigo.
Indigo.
Yay. Very excitingly, it just came out 2 days ago, so I've been listening to it non-stop. But before we do that, let's introduce ourselves. So I'll start. I'm Christine, I'm 29. I've been ARMY for a year and a half. And we're all here live today, actually, very excitingly. So Natasha, why don't you introduce yourself first?
Hi, I'm Natasha. I'm 19 and I've been ARMY for just over 6 years.
Perfect. And
Hi, I'm Leanne. I'm 33 and I've been ARMY for about 9 months. 10 months?
Nice. 10 months, yeah. We're in
10
December.
months now, we're in December now.
Yeah.
So it was starting now, actually.
Yeah.
If you're interested, go and listen to our first ever episode where we talk about how Christine indoctrinated me into ARMY when we had to isolate together during COVID, which was around December time.
It was, yeah.
So maybe coming up to...
It was in January, I think.
January.
Yeah.
January, I became a fish.
Yeah. You were by your birthday. I remember you were like, "Are you going to have your BTS shrine ready for my birthday?" Because I want my friends to see it. So yeah, that's good. And yeah, we're going to talk about Indigo. But before, I think there's been loads of content out, so I don't think we'll have time to talk about all of it, but I think we'll pick out some main ones. So there has been new run episodes. I haven't actually managed to watch the part 2 one, but it's the one where they do the like little live things.
And then they pretend to be ARMY in the comments.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
It's really funny, yeah. But everyone's like, "Can you marry me?"
Yeah.
Not even during Yoongi's live.
And they were bullying JK when he was doing the drumming, like,
Talk
more to us, JK. See my comment, JK. Reflect my comment, JK.
Why aren't you seeing any comments?
They're pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice one.
And then this week was the Mama award show.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. I watched all of it in the comfort of my office. No one tell my manager, although I think he noticed. But yeah, we're very quiet at the moment, so that's why. From a BTS perspective, I guess it was mainly Jeb's performance that was interesting. That was really good.
He did Futures, which was lovely.
And he brought out the child choir.
The children choir.
Yeah, when he started doing it, I was like, I'm surprised he's not brought a child choir. And then he brought them out at the end. I was like, okay, here we go.
And then they were all like looking up at the confetti, like trying to grab it. And I was like, oh, these children are so adorable.
Yeah. His stage was pretty like pared back, I'd say, like other than that, but
yeah, it wasn't a Dionysus stage.
Yeah, he did more and Arson and Future, so
and he looked amazing. He wore that really deep V.
Yeah.
And he picked up all of the awards by himself.
Yeah, that was a bit sad. He seemed a bit, but then he called Jin from the stage.
He did.
Yeah, and that was funny.
I feel like they should have given him a smaller chair. Because he had like that one big sofa.
Well, he sat
and
there
it was
with,
just
like,
him.
Zico was sitting with him.
Yeah, later.
At the end.
But I think from the start, when they called him up and it was just him on the sofa, I was just like, oh my Jesus.
Yeah.
Look at Hobie there on his own.
Yeah. Well, they asked him on the red carpet, they were like, yeah, so how do you feel without the other members? He was like, I'm very nervous. So... But yeah, he did a great job.
He did a good job.
Accepted
good
all
job,
the
Hobie.
awards that they got, which were a lot. Well, actually, he only accepted the last 2, I think. But
the Disneys.
Yeah. But yeah, he did some good speeches, and Jin did as well, over the phone. So yeah, and then the last thing we've had out is the Dreamers World Cup soundtrack, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah, we liked it.
Yeah.
And we liked the MV.
Good song. He looks good.
Ethereal.
Yeah.
He's doing the little dancing.
If anyone's familiar with previous World Cup songs, I feel like it's like Middle Eastern Waka Waka, essentially, the song. But
well, for a while we thought Yet to Come was going to be their World Cup song, and we were like, well, this is ridiculous.
Well, I thought actually I was a bit like, oh, that's good, because I didn't really want them to do a World Cup song because of the controversies around this World Cup. So I was kind of hoping it would be like a Hyundai sponsor requirement thing, and when that Yet to Come English version thing came out, I was like, oh, hopefully this is it, but it was not. I think it's probably important to mention just sort of why there's been controversy around here. I've seen a lot of people online go like, oh, everyone's just complaining about this song because it's BTS, and I recognize that a lot of army might not necessarily also be football fans. So yeah, I just wanted to say sort of why there has been criticism around this song, and it's not just because it's BTS and everyone like hates K-pop or whatever, but essentially Qatar are a very controversial World Cup host. They were given the World Cup in 2010. There were loads of allegations about corruption and everything around them getting it, but also people were upset because of the concerns around sort of human rights abuses that exist in that country.
Mm-hmm.
So just to sort of go over what they are, essentially Qatar have a penal code that criminalizes sex outside marriage, and that's led to prosecution of like rape victims, and they also they're very strict on sort of sexual relations between same sex and like homosexuality in general. So they say that sex between men is punishable by up to 7 years in prison. And if you instigate or entice someone of the same sex to commit an act of sodomy or immorality, you could face up to 3 years imprisonment. So obviously that's caused outrage. There were concerns over like LGBTQ plus fans and their ability to travel out there and all that sort of stuff. And even like friend groups that go together, you're not allowed to stay in the same hotel room if you're not married. So yeah, that's been a big problem as well. There was a official that referred to homosexuality like recently as a damage in the head. They like subject people to conversion therapy, harassment by the government, and like imprisonment. So not good. But beyond that,
650 people died during the making of the stadiums.
Actually, it's way more. It's 6,500 people.
Jeez.
So that's probably the worst thing. So essentially they have
6.5k people had to die so that we can play some sports.
Yeah, so sort of more factually, because there's so few people in Qatar, it's a tiny country, they have this policy where they recruit migrant workers from other countries sort of nearby. And they're a very wealthy country, obviously, so they can do that. But essentially that means that your visa to be in Qatar is tied to your employment as a migrant worker. So you don't really get any rights beyond you're here to work. And the conditions that they put these people in are quite sort of hazardous and dangerous.
Well, yeah, because they're building massive stadiums, right?
Yeah, but also it's a very hot country. And
so lots of people die from dehydration.
So they didn't have a lot of infrastructure to do the World Cup when it was given to them. So they needed to build stadiums and hotels, highways, etc.
Just mental.
Yeah.
Just don't give it to them.
Exactly.
They don't have the infrastructure.
Well, like
hundreds of other countries across the world have the infrastructure.
Well, every country in the world needs to build stadiums to host the World Cup. That always happens. But yeah, maybe not highways and hotels. There was a study done by The Guardian that found that 6,500 migrant workers had died in Qatar since 2010 due to causes including sort of workplace accidents, car crashes, suicide, and deaths from other causes, including the heat. That they sort of, not necessarily all of them are directly related to building the stadiums, but obviously if they weren't there to build the stadiums, then they wouldn't have been there, exactly. So yeah, they're set up under these sort of exploitative and dangerous conditions, both in their sort of living situation and working situation there. So that's why people are annoyed at this. And
lots of big artists didn't, like Dua Lipa.
Yeah, I've heard that Dua Lipa turned it down. But then I also heard someone say that they wanted a K-pop artist because of the sort of blind loyalty and sort of lack of controversy, quote unquote, around that genre, and how the fan bases are seen as like inclusive and welcoming,
culturally diverse as well.
Yeah, exactly. So if that's sort of the angle that they're taking, and I think also I saw someone online being like, don't engage with people who just say that Jungkook did a good job because you might not know what they stand for, so we should be careful with who we're giving all these like likes and comments and retweets and all that sort of stuff, because they can sort of benefit financially from that. But then I thought, like, that's the whole point of this, the whole point of having him there is that there's this blind support for the song. Like, obviously it's been the first World Cup song that's entered the top 10 Billboard charts and that sort of stuff. Essentially, these sort of sporting tournaments, usually we call them an attempt at sports washing, which is like you organize or sort of participate in sports to better your image. Obviously, the Qatari government, for the reasons that we mentioned above, don't have the best image. So it feels a bit like they got BTS involved because they wanted to increase their sort of good image to maybe an audience that wasn't already football fans necessarily. And I feel like the attention that the song has got and the charting and everything, it's sort of working. So yeah, I mean, the reason for bringing it up is if you're a LGBTQ plus BTS fan, then I think it must be quite difficult to sort of accept that they've made this decision to participate in. And I understand it's like a nice platform and everything for Jungkook to get his name out to loads of people who wouldn't have heard of him otherwise or seen him. But like, I think I wanted to just mention it because, one, there are reasons to be against participating in sort of activities around this World Cup, and also just to sort of say to any BTS fans who are sort of against it because they are personally LGBTQ plus members of that community or anything like that, I wouldn't want to sort of feel ostracized or ignored by the rest of the fandom who are all like, yay, this Dreamer song. So yeah, I just wanted to say you wouldn't be alone in that. So yeah. Right, should we talk about Indigo then? I just got a notification from viewers actually that Jin's photobook film is out, so that's exciting.
Yeah, you didn't talk about Jin's birthday.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so we are recording this on Jin's birthday, very excitingly. He did his live this morning, but we were asleep, so I didn't watch that, but I heard it was cute. Yeah, happy birthday, Jin. Obviously, it'll be out after his birthday, so if he listens, it will be a belated birthday message. But
happy birthday, Jin!
Happy birthday, Jin!
And I was really worried he wouldn't do a V live, or that we wouldn't hear from him or see him.
Yeah, I didn't know if he would.
I was so stressed, but he's done one, so it's fine.
Yeah, because he said in the Mama speech that he did over the phone, he said he wasn't going to do any more public appearances for a while. So yeah, that was sad. But then he did do his V live, so that was good. But yeah, anyway, happy birthday, Jin. Everyone, listen to The Astronaut after you've listened to Indigo. Okay, so we should talk about Indigo then.
We should.
Yeah. Okay, so Indigo obviously came out this Friday. It's Sunday today, and we've listened to it loads since. I think, like we did for Jack in the Box, we can talk through some of the stuff that happened up until release, and then we can go over some of our initial impressions of the songs. We're not gonna talk through them sort of song by song and do all the lyrics now because, one, there hasn't been enough time to research, and two, we want to do that once we've sort of come to it in the on the wheel. So yeah, we'll do that in maybe like a year or two.
Because it's going to be right at the end.
Sorry, Aaron. Yeah, we'll be doing it then. Hopefully by then we'll have enough of
maybe you'll be back from military following by then.
Well, Jin doesn't care. It's
no, I meant Junie.
Yeah.
Junie will have gone and come back.
Yeah.
Before we've got to Indigo.
That's true. I am a bit worried actually because we've not done any solo albums, and it's definitely the biggest category on the wheel. So at one point we're just going to do solo albums for like a while, but sure. So yeah, the first thing that I've written down as sort of related to the album is the interview that he did with Pharrell for Rolling Stone.
Oh,
that was really nice.
That was really nice.
Yeah, that was released on the 1st of November. I remember them talking a lot about sort of the artistic production process. So RM asking Pharrell sort of how he decided what his role should be in the song. And he was like, oh, that's such a great question. No one's asked me that before.
They got on really well.
Yeah. It was nice as well because RM sort of talked about, you know, what he'd gone through recently and sort of how he started to maybe sort of doubt his commitment to music and how he maybe started to prefer visual arts and things like that. But Pharrell was very like, reassuring. It was like that comes and goes, like up and down happens. And you'll sort of come back to it, and Aaron was like, oh god, okay,
great, thanks Pharrell.
I'm reassured now.
We all breathed a sigh of relief.
We all were relieved, yeah, exactly.
Julie's like, Pharrell, I don't think I like music anymore. He's like, it'll come.
Yeah.
Like, phew.
Yeah. I know, yeah, it was relieving for everyone watching as well, I think. And then he sort of asked for some advice on existing sort of within and outside groups, because obviously Pharrell's been part of a couple groups in his day, but like also done stuff on his own and sort of moved in and out of that a lot. So and he was like, well, just don't like cut anything off. Don't say like, I'll never do this group again, I'll never do that again, whatever, because you never know what you might want to come back to. You want to leave all your options open. And then he said about like doing one style of music or doing something with a group, doing solo pursuits and everything. He said like, oh, if you work on the same thing all the time, then you get bored. So I think he said he thinks it's important to sort of move in and out of like group work, solo work, production, like all that sort of things, like switch it up and sort of keep it interesting that way. So that was interesting.
Yeah. I think Pharrell was good. I think he's a good match.
Yeah.
I think he's got a couple more years.
Yeah, definitely.
On RM, I think it was definitely. I remember the bit where Pharrell swore and then was like, I don't want to offend
your fans.
I don't want to offend your fans. And then RM was like, they're not like that.
Yeah.
Which was really sweet. Because we were like, yeah, Julie, we're not. But also, Pharrell, you watch.
Yeah.
You tread lightly. Because we are watching.
Well, yeah, we're all going to be menacing to Pharrell, but...
no, he did a really good job.
Yeah, he was really good.
And I asked him the question about how do you be a singer, songwriter, producer, husband. That came up. He's prepping. Because obviously he's on his way here. Now that he's heard the podcast, he's on his way to find me.
Yeah.
After he's dropped Indigo. And he's had a bit of advice from Pharrell on how, like, you navigate that. I want to see what they talked about off camera, always.
Well, you should listen to the podcast. The podcast was longer.
A bit longer, yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone only watched the 20-minute interview, you can also go listen to the Rolling Stones Artists on Artists podcast. So there were a few more questions in there. But yeah. So before we talk about the album, I guess also because there's a bit of swearing on the album, maybe we should do our disclaimer. So normally we just say that we're not experts on BTS music or K-pop.
We're just fans of RM, sharing our opinions about RM.
And please be aware, RM does swear.
He does. He opens with a swear. We also swear,
and we swear as well. Yeah, we take after our fearless leader. So he swears, and we do as well. So yeah, now you know that. The next thing that I had actually is that he announced his solo album on his Instagram on the 10th of November, so it's quite soon after. And then Weverse sort of followed up on the same day, but he posted that photo of just like jeans, didn't he?
Jeans, yeah.
Yeah, and
but
then
very
was like,
clear.
Indigo, 2nd of December, and we were like, oh, okay.
And then also, this is not the album jacket.
Yeah.
Just in case, I will be in it. Yeah. There'll be a picture of me on the album. This is not it, but this is important.
This is just like the... Yeah, whatever. But yeah, and then on the 14th we had the physical album design, telling us the record of RM Indigo from Colors of Nature, Human, etc. Use it while taking a walk, a shower, drive, coffee break, work, dance, read a book, when flowers bloom or fall. The last archive of my 20s.
Oh,
it's
so
very
poetic.
RM.
Very poetic.
I like the flowers bloom bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the V-Live that he did, he was like, when I wrote this tagline, I meant, like, you can listen to it anywhere, but you don't have to listen to it in all these places.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do it all the time, but it works in all these places.
Yeah.
But no, you don't have to do it in all of them.
Yeah.
Like, don't feel like whenever you're reading a book or walking out or showering, you should listen to it. It's just anytime it works, you can.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but you can.
Yeah, exactly. I've written here in my notes, because I did these as things were coming out, that I thought it was interesting that it said dance, because I was like, oh, is it going to be like dance music?
No, there isn't.
It wasn't. So also, but I also said read a book, so maybe, yeah, I should have known. But I thought maybe there would be some more upbeat tracks, at least, like more than mono. Which I guess there is. That gave me a hint to at least, like, oh, it's not going to be like as lo-fi and soft as mono. So we had the Weverse pre-order info came out at midnight KST on the 15th, and that had the like color splash, all the like blue photo things and the like flower X-ray images or whatever. He had all the like different like blue photos, which I was a bit like, this is not Indigo. The blue's too light.
Yeah, we've been going back and forth about this, haven't we? We
yeah.
There's some fan theories about how there'll be the Blues album and then the Reds album, and that'll be a purple album, which is more closer to Indigo. But
yeah, I don't think so anymore.
No, I don't think so
I was pretty
anymore.
convinced for a while.
I think Aaron just thinks Indigo's blue, whereas I think Indigo's more purple.
Yeah, but he said something about like how it's the colour of jeans, which I guess is blue.
I don't
then
think
he's had some
jeans are indigo.
No, but I think like typically you do say that dark jeans, like the really dark blue jeans, are indigo, and then you like fade them to get them the light color if you want light jeans.
I mean, we just call them blue jeans, right?
Yeah, but like technically, if you work in fashion, I think you might describe jeans as like the original color that jeans has. You know, he said he got the color from, you know, the jeans getting the color from nature thing. That was important to him, so that's what he said. But the photos in the album are not like dark blue jeans. They're more like sky blue. Yeah. So, but then
he should have called it blues.
Yeah, maybe.
But he really likes indigo as a colour and a concept.
Yeah.
He talks about that, right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But it's definitely blue.
He said, like, oh, everyone has a different idea of, like, blue, indigo, navy, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah.
And I don't think everyone does. I think there's, like, a set colour palette.
I tried to Google indigo, like, when we were having a discussion, like, to see, just go on Google Images, put in indigo, see what it brought up. But it was mostly darker colours, but there were different, like, shades, so...
Well, from now on, whenever you Google it, it's going to be blue.
That's true. Yeah. Our arm has changed to colour, guys. Congratulations to him. And then we didn't have that many updates after that, actually. RM posted a D-10, like as in day 10, on his Instagram story on the 22nd of November, and then we got the Indigo Identity film.
It wasn't a photo, it was just flickers of blue.
Yeah.
To be clear, he was setting the tone.
Yeah, so the Indigo Identity film that had some more of the like blue flower stuff, and then it said record of RM indigo from the colors of nature, human, etc. Documentation of my youth in the moment of independent phase. Sun bleached record faded like old jeans. He does this a lot where he's like he puts English stuff in, but it's not like always
super coherent.
Yeah.
Poor grammar.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know whether that's like an intentional thing, but it in the lyrics as well, there is a few times when I'm like, that's not how you'd say the sentence, but sure.
Creative license, yes.
And on the 23rd, they invited people to a small recording of the performance footage and
the X-rated one.
Yeah.
X-rated, no minors, RM will be naked.
Couldn't have attended, which is not a minor, but you couldn't have attended because they said you had to be born before like New Year's Eve 2002, I think.
You're too young to go to RM's release party, even if we were back in Korea.
Yeah, we could have gone.
Well, we would have gone.
We wouldn't have got tickets, I don't think.
We might have.
But we might have. We could have entered. Constantly better than I don't live there. Yeah. And then we had the first promotional photos, which were the ones where he's like stood around in some...
The white ones, white ones looking out the window, and then the jean in the double denim.
Double denim and white, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So they didn't give that much away about the sort of concept or style of music, but there was some like soft sunlight and like sepia type tones. So
did we see the
more of a mono vibe than like a RM by Rock Monster vibe?
Yeah. Did we see the Yun painting? I think it's in the back of one.
Yeah, it is actually. It's in the back
when he's on the double denim.
When he's on the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so you
put
get that
a link into his
teaser.
Instagram, so you can see it there. But it's in actually he's in a couple of them. And there's also the stool with the jeans that he actually wore.
Yeah,
you know, that's there. That's there as well.
He brought them. Can you imagine him just bringing them to set?
These are my jeans.
These are my jeans. I want to put them in the photo shoot.
Yeah. And then the next day we got more photos. There were similar outfits, including one where he lies on a bed with his denim outfit.
Problematic.
Yeah. And he was winking as well on the bed.
Yeah, he was winking on the bed. After he'd been like, come to my X-rated Go Live party.
Yeah.
Not you, Natasha.
Yeah.
No children allowed.
No.
Only adults.
Yeah.
Only adults can hang out with Daddy Namjoon.
Yeah. And yeah, all the surroundings are quite plain. Like I said, it doesn't give much away, but yeah. And then he did release this iLog puzzle piece thing, where there was like the first puzzle piece, and it looked like there was going to be like 6 or 8 puzzle pieces.
But there wasn't any more puzzle pieces. There wasn't.
No, so I don't know what that was, but maybe they moved away from it.
Maybe it's coming later.
But yeah, and also that same day we got the track list, so it was a big day.
That was the day when we realised about all the Easter egging.
Yeah.
The Instagram Easter egging.
Mm-hmm.
Every featured artist, he posted
He
one of
posted
their
about-
songs on his Instagram. And I really didn't put RM down as a early Easter egger.
No, I know.
Because that's something I associate, with Taylor.
Taylor Swift, that is.
Taylor Swift, yeah. And I know that the universe story and RM stuff's really complicated, but now whenever he posts anything, I'm like, what does this mean? What's hidden here? And I could really do without that anxiety, if I'm honest.
Yeah, we should think about that.
Yeah, think about my mental health here. Stop giving me secret hints.
Yeah, the track list that he posted had these like sound waves.
Oh, the waves.
Yeah, so I think someone like tried to play the sound waves and they came up as like kind of like noise, but with like pages being turned.
Oh yeah, the page turn.
Yeah.
Noise. I remember that.
That was cool.
And that's from one of the songs. It was one of the things that I'd heard.
Yeah, it was in Love Yourself, Her.
Love Yourself, Her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether he's referring back to Love Yourself, Her, but maybe.
Probably, now that we know he's a massive Easter egger.
Yeah, true.
Everything's connected.
Yeah, exactly.
In RM's mind.
Yeah. So there were a lot of theories around this at the time, including the one that you mentioned about, because he put the thing up and then it said like track list and then like 10 blues. So everyone thought there was also going to be 10 reds, and that's why the colour was wrong, because like the 10 blues and the 10 reds would make indigo. Yeah. That would have been
And
nice,
he put the blue hat, the red hat, and the purple hat.
Yeah, he did that a few times.
Why do you need the red hat?
Yeah,
just do the blue hat and then the purple hat.
Yeah,
because the blue hat's indigo and the purple hat's army, but he's just sticking in the secret red hat.
But I think the blue and red
together
hearts were there like since the proof.
Maybe he just likes the red hat.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe you feel like they create you.
This is the problem now, that he's a known Easter egger, because like previously you'd be like, whatever RM, it's a red hat. Yeah. But now you're like, what does it mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And then people thought it would, in the red songs, there would be his collaboration with Jungkook and Pharrell, because they talked about that in the interview, didn't they? That they'd collaborated. But I guess that's going to be on Pharrell's albums
JK's
now. Maybe JK's. I think Pharrell's. He sort of talked about it as if it was his song, didn't he? Yeah. And then there was loads of people had screenshots of the J-Hope and RM both putting the "and next."
Question mark. We're still waiting to. We've arrived at release date and the answers are not here. Yeah. Like, we've arrived for the season finale and there's too many loose ends that need tying up.
Maybe that.
Where is the RM J-Hope collab on "and next"?
Hopefully that means there'll be more music.
There'll be more.
Yeah.
Better be.
And then some had worked out that if you rotate the track list, it looks like the 10 Blues by Young Hyun.
Which was in the picture.
Which is
what you were actually meant to get from the track list.
Yeah. So maybe we should have all worked that out now in retrospect, because I was like, when someone found this out, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's a Korean artist. I know he loves Korean artists, but I didn't go like, oh, that's the one from the concept photos. Yeah. Not so smart.
Some army is smarter than we are.
Yeah. So then, like, K-Media started reporting that the Wildflower track 9 would be the lead track. RM posted on his Instagram, "From a burning firework to a wildflower, from a young boy to forever, I will remain in these desolate fields. Oh, to go back someday."
Oh, Jesus
Very
Christ.
poetic.
He's really in his feels on this one.
Yeah. And then we got confirmation that he would appear on a few, like, shows and things. So there was the Saksang radio show, which we haven't been able to listen to because it's not available outside the US, or it's not available in the UK anyway. Boo. Tough. But yeah, he's also going to be on Yoongi's drinking show on Monday.
Shushwata.
Yeah. So I don't know whether he's going to talk about it there, but maybe.
And they did the whole thing where they covered his eyes.
Yeah.
That showed like 92% of his face.
It
and
we're
like,
the lower
who's
half of
the
his
secret
face?
guest?
And like there were loads of
and
people
his
talking
voice.
And stuff. Yeah. And they were like, oh yeah, he's going to be there with guests. And yeah, they were trying to hide it. It was RM. And yeah, it was not very well hidden.
Poorest hide ever.
Yeah.
So
Created some fun memes though.
It did make some really funny memes. I saw one with like RM's face, but then like just a question mark over his forehead, like guess who?
Yeah, and then there was
the rest of the face.
The one with like the elephant, and they just covered the elephant's eyes.
Yeah, just
like,
the eyes.
Animal is this?
What animal is that? That was a good one. Yeah. That was a good one. Trolling.
Yeah. And then we got the teaser for the Indigo magazine film on the 27th. The full version came out yesterday. So we watched that. That was really good.
We did. We liked that.
Yeah.
You cried.
I did, yeah.
We are in quite an emotional state.
Yeah, we're really hungover.
We're really hungover. We got out until 6. It's not the right time to be hanging out with Indigo.
No.
Aaron getting in his feels.
That's true, yeah. I was in my feels as well. Everyone, if you've listened to previous episodes, you know that I'm a big crier. So, yeah, it's easily done.
After we'd watched the magazine, I was like, I need to go upstairs and lay in my bed in the dark and just be with Indigo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was challenging.
I like that like all the people that were on it actually got to speak and talk about it like conversation wise, rather than it just being like RM saying like, oh yeah, I work with this person, but like to actually see, because I probably wouldn't have actually like googled all these people, to see like a face to a name is a good thing to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only feature that wasn't on there was the Mahalia.
They talked about her.
Yeah, they talked about her. She was,
and we got to see Han.
She's from here. She's English,
the producer.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's her.
Han were there as well. But yeah, and then we had this photo of the like CD vinyl with all the like blue splash on it. That was nice. Like, was on his Instagram on the 28th of November. I don't really know whether it's the CD or the vinyl, but it looks very artsy.
I've just realised that our albums have still not arrived,
even
though we pre-ordered them from HMV.
If you're listening,
get your act together.
For proof, everyone got their albums before the release date. Yeah. So maybe that's why they've been like, no,
you must get them after.
The post office here in the UK,
that's postal
super
strikes
well at the moment. Yeah, the vinyl has the splashes of the blue, but when he posted it, it also has the like little blue heart.
Oh.
So then I was like, there is a red album. There is one. But there was not.
I said maybe it was seeded on a longer concept.
Yeah,
right?
maybe
a second solo
album
is the red album.
Yeah, and then on the 29th, he posted the picture that's the album cover of him with the jeans and the painting. And then he put D2 as the caption. I was like, paint tribute. No, I'm just kidding. But
2 days to go.
I know. But
what's your thoughts on the album art? The colour, the blue hearts, red hearts, purple hearts.
Yeah, as the visual person here,
I like it. Obviously, jeans are in colour. His top patch is obviously talking that he's finished that era, so that's like most washed out colour. And stuff for it. So, but then it also, because that's in the light, you could also say that like that's what's coming for his next era. He's going to go for his new pair of jeans to his washed out pair of jeans. So maybe it's talking like life cycles.
He did a whole bit on mono v blue, didn't he? Mono v indigo.
Yeah.
Like mono was my black and white era, and I wanted to come out of that black and white concept into this blue concept.
Yeah, so just to describe first, anyone that doesn't have it in front of them, it's like arm sat on the ground, he's wearing the denim and some white shoes, and then there's like a stool with jeans on, and Natasha was saying that the like top blue top 2 pairs of jeans are like faded.
Oh, they're the oldest ones.
Yeah, well, the lightest ones. So, and then also there's like sunlight coming through the window, and the sunlight only sort of lights up the jeans, so he and the painting are both like in the shade. So what does that mean? Yeah. So yeah, I have the thoughts of a photography student there.
Yeah, Natasha says part of a photography course has been doing some lectures on what's behind the photo.
The ways of seeing.
Ways of seeing, yeah.
Ways of seeing, yeah. I did that in my art history course as well a little bit. Like.
We didn't do that in law.
What?
Which is why I'm not allowed to post on social media on behalf of the generations without prior approval.
Yeah. No aesthetic background from you. But yeah, and then after the Mama Awards on the 30th, he put out the teaser for Wildflower, where he like walks in a field and then there's fireworks. Or like, I thought it was a thunderstorm, but then I was like, or is it fireworks? Because you sort of see it from above the clouds. There's like banging and like lights through clouds. There wasn't a lot of song while he was walking, but like while the firework is on, then you can hear the like piece of music in the background, and I was like, oh, this is pretty like loud and grand. So then I was like, maybe it isn't like mono.
No, it is.
It isn't.
Spoiler
it isn't. it's more like
it
rap
is
heavy,
more textured. It's more textured.
more rap heavy and upbeat. Like you couldn't have put like Still Life on the Change Part 2 on mono. That wouldn't have gone.
No.
So yeah, and then on the 1st, he put up his scheduled live for the morning of the 2nd. It's 3 hours after the album dropped at 5 a.m. that was going to be. And then he wrote one of his very classic heartfelt letters in reverse.
Which is like 500 words long.
Yeah, I was going to read it, but I don't think we have time.
No.
So I'll put it in the show notes anyway. But yeah, there were tears. I can't remember.
It was really beautiful.
Tears, but it was really nice. Yeah. And then he did some interviews and things as well, but obviously they came out after the album. So there was one with Variety magazine, which we'll link. There's an interview with The Enemy as well, which I thought was really good. It was really well written, so I would recommend checking that out. And then he announced his NPR Tiny Desk concert for the following morning as well. So that was really cute.
We were really excited about Tiny Desk,
weren't we? Yeah.
We're big Tiny Desk fans.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked during it.
Yeah, he talked a lot during his Weverse live as well, but because of the stupid new Weverse, we still haven't been able to watch it with subtitles because they don't put subtitles up as quickly as VLive. Don't acquire a platform and then lower the service. But anyway,
and they'd sort of led us down a garden path as well, right? Like, because with Hobie they did live translations.
Yeah.
So we'd been like, oh, we'll get up early.
Yeah,
we'll watch it and it'll come with live translation. And then I'm there, like, half on Twitter hoping someone's doing live translations, half watching him. And then in the end, you always often just give up, right? I'm just going to look at him.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to look at him, be excited about these pedestals because I've got no idea what he's saying, and I think Twitter's letting me down.
It would have been really hard to do live translations because he was talking so fast.
He does go too quick.
But maybe if they'd been like, alright, we're going to try and do live translations, he would have just slowed down a little bit. But yeah, there were some very brave armies trying to keep up with him on Twitter. And thank you for your service.
It's hard.
But yeah, it was hard. They were all like, he's too quick, it's not happening. But we got some of it from that, so that was good. And then we listened to the album. The album came out on 5 a.m. UK time, so we'd been out the night before as well. So
we went to the Blackpink concert.
We went to Blackpink, that was fun. But we came back too late, so I didn't manage to get up at 5. We got up at like 7 because his VLive was at 8, so we managed to listen to it before.
And we had a really beautiful moment, Natasha and I, where I put it on and it starts and it's all like gentle, soft in bed, and I'm like, oh, this is so nice. And then he's like, fuck the trendsetters. That's like literally the first thing that he says, and I'm like, oh man, Julie, why? I've only just woken up. What? No, the first word on your new album can't be fuck. That's inappropriate. Fine, I'm awake now. Are you up? Oh, I'm up. So it really set the tone. I felt like he knew that I wasn't like fully concentrating, so he just slapped us with the F-bomb.
Yeah. So I think maybe we've got to where the album's come out now, so maybe we just talk through our normal questions. But yeah, the questions that we did for Jack in the Box, I think we'll go through the same ones with an added favourite feature category. Obviously, we've had less time with this because I think we recorded Jack in the Box reaction like a week and a half after.
Yeah.
So it's very, very much like initial thoughts. But yeah, let's get into it. I think the first question we are going to do is, what do we think about the concept? Now, obviously, it's not like it has a clear of a concept as Jack in the Box, but
it's not.
Yeah, what do you think, guys?
We talked about this, didn't we, a bit? We talked, because I'd been anticipating some Junie psychoanalysis answer to how you continue to live your life or navigate this time in my life concept, like a whole map of the soul concept or a Demian concept, like something that was just like, I actually thought it was going to be maybe coming around the Midnight Library, the Matt Haig book that we've seen him read on in The Soup and that sort of stuff. So I thought we might get a big concept like that. Even within the teasers and stuff that was coming out, I was like, oh, it's going to be so intellectual. And it's not.
Well, it's not.
It doesn't lack in intellect. It's just more introspective and more personal. To him, it doesn't have a
Like it's not.
It's inspired by this book, this theory,
No. Yeah.
which is actually.
I
don't think it's any worse.
I'm not
I think
sure
it's still
I
beautiful.
was expecting that, but yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah. He said he was talking to quite a lot about how he thought like and I think he is right that like the sort of purest form of inspiration, if you will, as art is concerned, comes from your own life, your own experiences and things like that. And if you're able to relay that in a way that it sort of feels relatable and sort of is accessible to other people, then that's sort of, he said in the interview that he thinks that's like the highest form of art, is to be able to relay your own experiences in a universal way. And I agree with that, I think, because you don't need like a book or a theory or whatever to ground yourself if you're able to just take all of that from how you've lived and how you've sort of struggled, and you as like someone who's not very relatable, like in a way that he obviously lives a very different life from you and me, but you're able to relay the issues that you've had and the sort of concerns and sort of questions that you've asked yourself to your fan base in a way that lets them figure more out about you, but also is relatable to millions of people across the globe who live completely different lives. I think that's sort of probably what I was expecting based on Mono, and also what we've had. That's sort of what I think of the concept anyway.
I think I disagree on the highest form of art part. I think there's something to be said about taking complicated psychological, philosophical theory and translating that into a way that's accessible, that is harder than, I'd say harder in general for most artists, probably easier for RM, than sharing your own personal takes. I think the latter, the Map of the Soul type albums, are harder to make than this is my thoughts and feelings, this is my life. And I think many artists do, this is what I'm going through, these are the things that I'm seeing in the world, this is how I want to express my feelings and my thought. And I think that is super valuable. And I'm really happy that RM's wanted to do that. And I know it's very exposing and very vulnerable, but I don't rate it as highly as I would have on a full concept album. I would have liked some literature.
Okay, that's an interesting take. Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't love it any less. It's, still an absolute banger.
No,
but that's just what I thought within the concept.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously allowed to feel the way you feel. He talked a little bit about the challenges around looking within in the interviews that I read, probably particularly with Enemy. They talked a lot about like regret and stuff like that, and sort of they asked him like, "Oh, is it you've not done a lot of like introspection?"
Yeah, he hasn't.
On your previous albums with BTS, because obviously it's a group album. You've had all these like concepts, and although obviously there's introspection in his verses and some, and we've talked about that in previous episodes, he's not been able to like sit down and think like, what do I think, and not have to like relate it to a book and whatever, and not have it sort of make sense for the other members as well. So he talked about it being harder to sort of expose yourself than sort of being able to hide behind literature. I
just think it's something we get more of from Western artists. Yeah. I'm happy that he's been able to do it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's what he's spent that time doing.
No, but that's an interesting take. I don't think I agree, because I think from what we've had from him before, I feel like I understand, because obviously when he did the Festa dinner, we were all very like concerned about like how he was feeling and sort of what he was struggling with and that kind of thing. So I feel like he sort of bared his soul a little bit.
He's done his Find Yourself album.
Yeah, but I don't think that's like a tick box exercise in the same way that maybe you think it is.
No, I don't think it's a tick box exercise. I think it's a step that I'm glad he's taken. And obviously, whatever he produces, I'm happy for him and what he's got out of that creative process. I just feel like overall it's a less intellectual piece of work. Okay. It's more introspective, but it's less intellectual.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with the introspection being less hard to do, because he did obviously talk about, like I said, he talked about how he finds it difficult and like painful, etc., to look within and look back and sort of think, how did I feel about this, and sort of try and translate that through art. I think that's much more of a like an emotional process, and art is meant to sort of evoke emotion. So yeah, I think let's move on to the next question. The next question was thoughts on the album overall. Do you want to tell us your thoughts?
I think, cause I probably just expected it to be like a mono or something of the sort. I was just listening to mono, building up to it, and then it came out and I was like, listening to it in bed, maybe waking up at 7 a.m, it didn't really go in. Listening to it, I'm like, oh, has this not been on? Like, has it gone already? Like, have I been to this song? Have we done this or whatever?
Yeah.
So, definitely didn't want what I expected in like vibe, but listened to it a few times. I think it's growing on me, but
Okay. So that's how I put it. Yeah.
I don't.
The problem is you're here in person,
Yeah.
whereas normally she's like on the other line behind the TV. So when she's like, "Yeah, Herbie's fine, 2.5," I can be like, "I will kill you when I see you." Whereas she sat here right in front of me.
Yeah.
I am a meter away from strangling you, and it's about RM, so obviously it's gonna hit deep.
Mm-hmm.
Go on. You think it's fine?
Yeah, I don't love it. There were notes that stood out. There weren't like a bit where I like, oh, I like the sound of that. Oh, that's a bit of me. It was just like, oh.
It's mental.
It's a little, like, it's not really like K-poppy, is it?
No.
Like, you obviously listen mostly to that sort of thing, I think. So it's, even though he's like a K-pop star, it doesn't sort of fit within the bracket of that genre. I would say sort of maybe like transcended that genre, at least in his solo work.
Yeah, he's far above.
And obviously, like, people have individual taste in music, right? So if you, like, prefer the more, like, poppy genre, then that's fine. Like, if you were expecting, like, a K-pop album, then...
Yeah, you're going to be disappointed. You would have been disappointed with Hobie's one as well, right?
Yeah,
which
but at least his is a beat, at least. But this one is, like...
It's very soft.
Introspective, soft, like, quiet. Like, there's no...
But mono is also really soft, which is where I'm confused, because I've picked up mono in the last couple of weeks in prep for Indigo arriving, and I've loved having mono around, and I feel like I've just transitioned straight out of mono into Indigo, and it feels continuous for me. Yeah, it doesn't feel. I didn't listen to RM by Rap Monster by RM. I've not listened to that because you were like, it's hell.
It's not hell.
It's a rap album, and I'm
fine.
like, I don't need it. I don't need
but
it.
Based on your
I don't need it
takes,
around.
I don't think it's your vibe, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not hell, definitely not. But, like, it's fine. Obviously, he said that he isn't, like, a massive fan of it anymore anyway. We don't know whether... I think in Korea they didn't have mono on Spotify, so they put mono on Spotify like they did with Jin's songs. I'm very excited for Bicycle, also on Spotify.
Yeah, I listened to Bicycle on repeat for a while.
Yeah, so that's exciting, but he didn't put RM by Rap Monster on Spotify.
He didn't, no. He's left that in the archive.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you don't think it flows from mono, because I think it does flow from mono.
Do you like mono?
She loves mono.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't love all of mono.
Okay.
Did you love mono from the start?
Maybe I'll grow on you.
Yeah, I like So from like first off. And then other ones that I've got is God and Everything Goes. They're like
good songs.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, then it is a bit surprising then that you don't like it, but hopefully maybe it'll grow on you over time. It is very quick to be asked to sort of form opinion on songs, like or not like, in a couple of days.
I feel like these have got like a ring to it though. Whereas the like Indigo's kinda, it's actual like a meaning rather than it just being like a pop song that's got like a bit of a repeatness to it. Yeah.
And I think that's why we're drawn to it, right, as well. Like, that's why after watching the magazine interview yesterday, Christine was in tears and I was like, I need to go and just be alone with this album, which is such a beautiful reflection of this man who I just adore. And you're like, yeah, no bangers. I'm like, what do you... But how can you not, like, appreciate this beautiful gift that he has given us for what it is? But it's fine.
Okay.
You're young, you're impressionable. You can spend more time with it and come back in 2 years' time when we review Indigo in all of its glory.
Yeah, no, I like it, but I think I've made that clear. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So I think overall album, really good.
Sonically cohesive.
Sonically cohesive, yes.
There's a blip for me. Because I was like, coming into this, Christine was like, these are the questions, you need to find your skip. And I was like, no skips. There will not be a single skip, Christine. This is ridiculous. How can you expect me to pick an RM song that I would skip? There will be none. And then when I was with it, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the skip. This is fine. And you were struggling. I got back yesterday and you were like, there's no skips. And I was like, there's definitely a skip.
I'm really struggling, but I think I'll probably like grow to have skips in a while. It's just like, obviously it's so new. So at the moment, I'd like struggle to skip a song. Yeah, definitely.
I think my skip is on that sonically cohesive.
Okay.
We'll get there. Big reveal spoilers.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see what it is.
Hang in there, guys.
Exactly, yeah.
Natasha's skipping the whole thing.
You cannot skip the whole thing. And it
not
also...
not a banger.
We maintain that it's gone to the head. I don't want to skip anything, really. Alright, lead single pick was the next question. What do we think of the pick? I think it's great. It's probably the biggest song on the album.
Agreed. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And we could talk about the features in total, but the picks on these features are just...
He knew what he wanted.
It's just mesmerising.
Yeah.
And the vocal, the female vocalist is like the old rock star, right?
Yeah.
She just brings so much like power and emotion within it. Like you said, there's really that explosion of fireworks that you see in the MV, and then her vocal, it just washes over me. Like, I just feel so uplifted by it. I think it was absolutely the right title track.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too. And it's also like, obviously he talked a lot about this. Like, he said he felt like BTS were a firework, as in something that like is loud and sort of burns brightly, but
is short-lived.
And I think that's like a feature of boy bands, really, not like normally, and that's why they sort of work them so hard and like try and crank out as much content as they can, like while they're on top, because you've seen that with obviously BTS, but like with One Direction and things like that as well. Obviously the sort of producers and everything are like, okay, we've got like a few years of these guys being super popular, let's like try and give everyone as much as we can. Obviously probably the longevity of BTS has been greater than maybe people expected, but yeah, I think that's sort of how he felt about that. But then he said he'd rather sort of himself be like a wildflower, like something that can be quiet but can persist for longer. So yeah, I think it sort of picks up the theme of sort of the album, if there is a theme of the album, and what he was thinking around that like seems to have been important to him in the process of making this.
Well, I think it sums up exactly where he's at within that journey and that introspection. Exactly. Like, it really focuses in on ultimately what is his deepest, darkest fear, right, which is irrelevance.
Yeah.
That whole, the fans will leave, the fans are always worried we'll leave, and we're always worried the fans will leave. And it's just so well produced.
Really good.
Right, go on, Natasha, tell us you hate it.
Yeah, don't... It's alright.
Do you like the music video?
Not like, I was just like,
It's a simple music video.
It's pretty though. Like,
it is pretty.
Yeah, it's not like dance heavy or anything like that. It's not like it's probably not like a traditional K-pop music video. No, I haven't seen a lot of like solo artist music videos from like K-pop stars, like probably other than J-Hope's ones. And Daechta.
It's very different to Hope's one.
Yeah.
We had Astronaut.
And Sugar's done a few. I've seen those, obviously.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was within vibe.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be played over and over and over again.
No, maybe not. But like, I think it's nice. Obviously, like, he has his long hair in it.
And he's all wispy.
Yeah, he's walking in the flowers. The flowers are purple.
I know.
Yeah, field of purple flowers. This is the throwback to 2-3. We've just put out the Wings episode, so if anyone's not listened to that, then listen to it, you'll know what we mean. But yeah, and then there's like the fireworks, and then there's just a really cool scene where he's standing under all those like strings that have like lit on fire.
Yeah, but that's like a real thing, right? That's like a real phenomena. That he went out and found because a friend recommended it, so it actually like exists.
Yeah. It's not CGI. He pointed that out. Yeah.
I don't know what it's called. I thought you might know.
I haven't looked it up because obviously we haven't had the Be Live with subtitles, but he does say it in the Be Live. So if anyone speaks Korean or is willing to wait until we first get around to do subtitles, then you can look at it there.
And it's different to how we felt about. I think with Jack in the Box we had 2, right? So the second lead track we'd switch out Arson for Futures or
you said that. We said in the end that isn't what he wanted.
I'd be interested to see what the second track will be.
Yeah, if he does a second track. Do you want to pick a track that you
what
want?
Would you... Yeah, no, there's none. They're all crap.
Not like Yun.
Yun. I really like Yun. Yun's the opener.
To be switched up.
Yeah. And that would make sense as well, because it's like the artist and everything, and how you have to be human before you do some art.
Before you do some art.
Yeah.
Make some art.
One thing that I'd take away from the music video is that I follow the company that Hybe pays to shoot the music videos. I know the company that filmed it, and they always put like pictures on being like wildflower, and obviously it's just pictures from that thing that they've taken like screenshotted from it, but they're the company that do it, so I can apply to their company. And I was like, take me in for a year, please.
Yeah, we're looking for a year placement for a photography student who hates RM. And Toby.
And Toby. All of our clients.
And Sugar. She'll not be there. She'll just be there for the vocal line.
Yeah. She claims to be
RM bias, but she's a liar.
Yeah, but she hates his production. Do you have a pick for what you think should be the next single, if there is one? And don't spoiler your best time pick.
No, I would want. I mean, you know what I'm like with RM. I am pretty selfish and sometimes disrespectful to his wishes. So I think I'd want one of the ones that's probably got more English lyrics within it. So it'd probably be Closer, which I think is beautiful, or Lonely. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind an MV across either of those.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the hope that it'll chart higher as well within the West. But I think he might also bring out Still Life with Anderson .Paak, because Anderson .Paak's
he's a big name in America.
Such a big name in America. Yeah. And he'd sort of, when we watched the magazine interview, he was like, and I made this song so that it'd be played more in the West. And I did it with Anderson .Paak, and it's about still life, but still being alive. And then Anderson .Paak sort of repping it off, and I was like, oh, that might be what we get. I think I'd really like Closer, especially after I saw about the Malaya and Paul Blanco and then Hon. Mahalia. I think that's what I'd want as a second track, but I wouldn't switch out the lead track.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree with you, to be honest. I think probably if they are going to put out one, it might be Still Life. Although, I think if all you hear from the album is Wildflower and Still Life, it doesn't do a very good job of translating the vibe of the overall work of art. So maybe he wouldn't want that, actually. I don't know. It just depends on what's going to make the decision, right? Whether it's going to be I want the single picks to be a cohesive representation of the album, or I want them to chart in the US, which they probably will anyway, to be fair, because Army. But
and maybe Yun, the Erykah Badu.
Maybe
he wanted her at Tiny Desk, didn't he? But she couldn't make it, and I thought she was really interesting within the interview. Actually, she was such a
she's
random, like in the spectrum of who was there.
Yeah,
and then you had this just random neo soul artist.
Yeah. He kept saying in the interviews that I read, he kept saying that he thought her voice was like enchanting, like a magic sort of spell,
like a siren.
Yeah, she would be an interesting pick, and is very well respected within music. So
and maybe the one with Tableau. Actually, I want them all as MVs. I want All Day.
Yeah.
I'm now just thinking about what I want to see.
Yeah. All right, should we move on? The next question was, is it what we've expected compared to his previous solos, so Mono and RM by Rap Monster? I think we probably have covered that, to be honest. It's more like Mono than RM by Rap Monster, but it's not as quiet as Mono, I don't think.
I thought there may be a angry rap hater song in there. Maybe not a hater one, but an angry one.
Yeah.
Once the album had finished, I was a bit like, oh. Where's the cypher part 3? And maybe it's because when we saw it in Busan, that Ugg psychopathery, that real like power
Yeah.
within those raps. I think he brings a lot of softness to the raps, but I didn't feel anything powerful.
No.
But then maybe I'll feel different about it when I see the performances, which is often how I feel actually. So
Yeah.
I can't really hear the angry rap. Is there any angry rap in there?
No, I mean, I think there is rap. Like, there is parts where he's rapping, like not as in, like, Mono doesn't have a lot of rap.
No, yeah, Mono's got very little. There's much more of it.
But I don't think any of it's angry. Like, there's a song that is a little angry. Like, Change Part 2 is angry, but it's not, like, rap angry. It's more, like...
He's not spitting the
distorted.
bars.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think I wasn't sure because he sort of said that it would be something that you'd never heard from him before. So I was like, okay, well, it's not going to be like Mono. And then when all the like concept photos came out and stuff like that, and I was like, it can't, like, you're not making a rock.
It doesn't look angry.
Album.
No, you're not.
Like, it's not
It's
like
not a Jack in the Box.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's not like a hip hop beats dance.
Yeah, you're making a Mono.
Whatever. Like, this is soft. It's gonna be Mono like. So yeah, that's sort of what I was expecting. Like, I wasn't expecting Mono, then I kind of was, and then I think what we've got is something in the vein of Mono more than Rap Monster, definitely. It's not exactly what I expected, but I didn't know what to expect. My expectations changed a lot through the release.
Is it what you expected, Natasha?
No.
What did you expect?
A, like, even better Mono.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
that's what it is.
That's what it is. What would an even better Mono sound like?
Different.
More like Mono, or less like Mono?
More of, like, walking around on your own, just like
sad walking
feeling it.
music.
Sad walking music.
That is what it
It
is.
has some sad walking
it has
music.
That, yeah. I was listening to it when we were walking into Winter Wonderland.
Yeah.
That was nice. It was like raining and dark and stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is really, really nice.
I listened to it on the tube, and then as I was walking home, and I got all the way to Wildflower, and then I did a lap so I could finish it. Whilst I was out walking, I was like, I'm going to get to the end of this. I'm not going to cut off number 2. It deserves to be heard.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful track. I'm going to do a lap whilst walking, happily.
Okay, yeah. Next category was standout look. Obviously, he's been a lot in denim, black and white. Do you have a... You seem excited? Do you have
No,
a movie you
I
wanna
know
share
where
with
mine
us?
is. Mine's in the MV, right? The white shirt in the MV when he's under the fireworks, where it's just like super close to the pecs. The pecs are there, they're available, but he's also looking like really wistfully.
Yeah.
So he's like looking super intelligent and wistfully, and he's producing this really beautiful music, but then he's also really hot.
Yeah, I'm smart, but I also have sex.
It's a yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm really smart and talented, but also I did bring my pecs along.
Yeah.
And he doesn't bring them all the time.
No.
We know he's got them. He owns them.
Yeah.
They belong to him. Occasionally we see them. We don't get to see them often. But in the MV, there they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my standout look.
I think...
Closely followed by the winking on the bed.
Oh, yeah. Winking on the bed is nice. I think all the concept photos were nice, but obviously the looks that he's sort of worn through the promotions have all been like quite like tonal. It's all like one color, like either it's beige, white, denim, and that's been the vibe. So I thought the one that you wore in the one that we watched yesterday, the magazine film, that was really nice. It was like a white trousers, white t-shirt, white jacket, but the white jacket was like kind of like cropped, so it was quite stylish. He looked very like, you know, that you see those Korean guys who always look really stylish,
like
girls,
accidentally trendy.
well,
Yeah,
but like
I just threw this on.
Minimalist type clothing, not like wild and colourful a lot of the time, like not the casual wear anyway, but it's just always like well put together, well tailored, like
he looked great.
Clean.
He looked great throughout.
He did, yeah, and I like his new haircut. What do you think, Natasha?
Mine is this picture, which we'll put on the Google Doc. And you think, oh, it's lovely. And then
It's got the feet.
It's got his feet out.
So it's one of the...
Oh my god.
It's the double denim look.
Yeah, double denim from the concept photos.
Just his big toes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the this is a better shadow of him than if you've seen the shadow where he's going around the corner. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, the awful. They did him dirty when we were in America. Let me try to find it right quick. But yeah, it's a nice shadow. I like the hair. But yeah, this one.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
The
Yeah,
best.
I've seen that shadow before.
I think I've seen that picture but never noticed the shadow.
I've seen the shadow as a meme.
Oh.
They're like what you look like and what your reflection is.
Oh. Gosh, okay. It's one from is it like the On promotion?
I don't know, it just says, K-pop shadow is coming for you.
Okay. Yeah, as well he's got his pink hair, but I think he's wearing the like big chain around his neck and the top. Anyway.
We'll link it. Enjoy.
Yeah, we'll put it in there. Okay, so the next one we'll do is the favourite feature. So who's your favourite feature, Leanne?
It's Tableau.
Oh, yeah.
It's Tableau. A lot of the female vocalists I think do really well. So Kim Sawol on Forgetful and the Wildflower Lady, like Eugene, and is it Park Ji-yeon? Yeah. I think all of those female features are really, really well done, and I really like them. But my favourite feature is Tableau. I think from when we watched the like magazine interview and this whole like Epic High fandom and the fact that they both wrote lyrics about each other's careers within it, it's just a really beautiful relationship, and I think it's a really beautiful moment. And then Tableau's lyrics are fucking banging. Yeah. Like, literally, he just drops them down that there's no tomorrow. Like, I've skipped back to Tableau's rap a couple of times in All Day. His scorn over, like, socio-economic standards and sticking it to the man. Like, Tableau brings the angry rap that I was hoping I'd get from RM. Yeah. Tableau's my favourite feature.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said about them referencing each other's tracks, in the magazine film, explained that the outro is inspired by Fly, which is the Epic High song, and then I heard this in the first one time I heard the Tableau rapper, he goes, there's like a faded vocal where he goes like, we got dynamite in our DNA, and I was like, oh yes,
get it, Tableau,
we do.
Get it, lad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favourite feature.
Yeah. Do you want to say yours, Tasha?
Mine is Erykah Badu.
She is good, actually. There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
I feel like at Ramon, she's probably one that I'd like actually go and look at her work.
Oh, really? Okay.
So like, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of different.
Yeah.
So I'll go and look at that because I might like some of her songs.
Yeah.
I bet you will. I think I will.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Are you guys neo soul fans?
No, I know, but I'm not. I don't even know what it is as a genre.
Yeah.
What it sounds like, but let's go listen. You know, broaden our horizons. Yeah.
I want to be friends with your kids because they like BTS.
That's how he got into it. Yeah.
So I'd be like,
he was like, I wanted to work with her. I asked her, and she was like, my kids love you, and I was like, oh, why are our family not more famous? Why is my ma not a famous singer? Damn it, Cass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yours, Christine?
Yeah, I think mine would be the Paul Blanco one, actually.
Oh.
I like his voice a lot. He's got a very like soft, chill voice. I think it fits perfectly in the song, and his lyrics are a little like sensual,
risque.
Yeah,
sensual's not the right word. They're filth.
They're not filth.
They are filth.
They're not.
They're
filth.
inappropriate, Paul Blanco.
No, they're not. They're not inappropriate, I don't think. But they're like descriptive in a sensual way, I'd say. And yeah, I think on the magazine film, the guys from Hon were saying about him having like an amazing voice, and I was like, yeah, he really does. So yeah, I think that's my favourite one.
Hon are brilliant producers. I think that came out really clear on that whole collab.
Yeah, they're really famous in Korea.
I think that's my favourite of the...
Super famous here.
Well, no, Tableau's my favourite of the collab. That's like, that feels like a good... Like it's something that's rare.
Yeah.
I really liked that. Oh, good picks. No picks for Eugene on Wildflower.
Yeah, that's sad.
Honourable mention. Because that vocal is like, without that vocal, I don't know what that song is.
Yeah, maybe
that
if it wasn't the lead track,
rare and powerful.
And maybe if it wasn't the lead track and I sort of felt like we'd already talked about it, maybe I would have picked that. That one's also really good, yeah, and it's very an original pick because I think Cherry Filter, I think her band is called. I think they were like big in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, from what I looked up. Like still active, I believe, but yeah, obviously she was like a little bit more of an out there pick. So yeah,
from what we saw, I just thought she was like the coolest woman, like alive. Like,
Yeah.
Just vibes across the board, right?
Yeah.
She's just like, yeah, he came to the studio.
Yeah.
It was just really great. She had this really cool studio, and she was just really just like chill. I wanted him to spend more time with her because I feel like a bit like Pharrell, like she can impart like happy wisdom onto him.
Yeah, and he said he wanted someone older because he felt like they could sort of give weight to the messages that he was trying to send. Because he was like, if some like 20-year-old kid is like trying to tell you
be wild forever,
and be like, live as a wildflower, or like you have to live before you can do art, and he's like, that's not gonna like resonate coming from me.
That doesn't work.
That made a lot of sense to me as well. All right, I think we've got there. The initial skip. Natasha, do you want to go first? Because you seem determined.
I'll go with number 4, which is the like forgetful. Without the E.
Yeah.
I just like the lyrics and stuff don't vibe. I just think when he's like, oh yeah, I always forget stuff. Like I'm always like, yeah, and I'm like, we all do. Guess what? We've all got the same.
Well, yeah. Well, he said his friends often point out that he forgets stuff. Like if he's hung out with them, like the day before, the week before, whatever, and then they like talk about, oh yeah, you know, when we went to that thing, when I said that, and he goes like, no, I don't remember. And he said he just has too much in his head. He feels like there's too much there. So I guess when you live this sort of really hectic life, that might be something that you have more of. I don't know. But
I really love Forgetful.
Yeah, me too.
I really like the Kim Namjoon's vocal on it. I think that soft, folksy vocal. I think the concept.
It's very different.
I think the concept is. I can see that it's a bit weaker.
I don't think it's necessarily. It's not like that one time that I forgot something. Let me write a song about it.
Yeah.
Like it's a vibe.
I lost my cards this week. I cannot find my keys. Where are my keys? Where my phone? Where my keys? That's a song that pops up.
It's something that like has come up. It's something that's like come up as a theme of him with him and his friends, and he sort of said he wrote it a bit apologetically, but yeah, it's like a commentary on everyday life, isn't it? Like what he experiences as everyday life and sort of how that impacts him. So yeah,
and it matters. I think it matters within friendship groups as well.
Exactly,
like to feel like you.
It must be pretty weird to be friends with him because like you live such like a removed. You have such like a removed existence,
and like even with my friends, if sometimes I feel like I'm having to repeat things that I've said before, that often can make you feel like a lower priority. Yeah. So I can see how it would impact. Yeah. I mean, that's a fine skip. I would not skip it.
I would not
too
skip
nice.
It either. Yeah, no.
It's too nice.
Yeah. You know, a lot of like famous people, not a lot, but like just some that I've happened across have said like, oh, it's, you know, hard to relate to my old school friends, hard to like maintain those relationships when you're always away, and like if you're out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, out of mind.
Yeah. So
and imagine like if you're friends with RM and you've hung out with him even though it's once a year, like that's like the best fucking day of your life, right? And then you see him again. You've seen him again, and then you've told him that you've just got a new cat that you adopted in COVID, and he seemed really into it. Yeah. And then you see him again, and you're like, oh yeah, my cat, and he's like, oh, you got a cat. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, the cat I told you that I adopted in COVID. Yeah. Like, surely, RM, surely you'd remember about this cat. I remember everything about you.
Yeah. And also, I guess, like, if you'd, like, you might text or whatever when they're away, but, like, if you have got such a packed, tight schedule and, like, trying to write songs and work, like, during that schedule, and probably it would be hard to, like, get back to people.
Your skip?
My skip, it's hard. I really, really struggled. Really, really did. But I think I landed on that I would skip Still Life.
Ooh. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I really didn't like it. You were like, it doesn't make any sense. Well, from an art concept as well.
I do like it. I won't actually skip it. But like when he was explaining, like obviously he said like as an English speaker, this is just the association that I had with the term Still Life. Because he said it was something like Still Life is a painting of an inanimate object, and he said that, but he was like, oh well, the association that I got was like, they're still life, like I'm still alive. And I was like, well,
that's wrong.
That isn't what Still Life is. But I did, when he said about like it's life that's been preserved, I think that's something that's often pointed out about Still Life. So like, especially the ones of flowers. Yeah. It's like you know how like beauty fades, time goes by, etc. But you've been able to like capture these beautiful flowers and sort of preserve them for eternity, or as long as your painting survives it, I suppose, at least.
But you get like still life vases and fruit, which is not alive.
Yeah, fruit I guess comes from live.
Life. But vases are still live, right?
Yeah, I don't know whether you'd get loads of paintings of just a vase, but yeah, I don't know. I think the reason for skipping it isn't so much that as like it's just like genre-wise not really my vibe. But then I had it on the other day and I was like dancing around to it, so I don't hate it.
I really like the vibe.
It's like, and I'm not actually gonna skip it, but I think as
gun to the
the
head.
songs go, if I was gonna skip one, and I think maybe like once I start putting it on playlists and shuffle and stuff like that, I probably still won't skip it, but like it maybe won't get me as excited as some of the other songs. Yeah. What about you?
Mine's Change Part 2.
Oh, shocking.
Yeah. Well, it's do you know what it is? It's the same as Outro 2. There's too many effects on it. I just feel like it's a onslaught on my ears.
I like it.
In like the soft vibes that come. I don't know if it's because I really like Closer and I really like Lonely. So I don't know if it's because that it's where it's sitting, like looking at it, because I've been listening to it, you know, through, like you said, you know.
You wanted us to listen.
And maybe if it was in shuffle, then I'd feel differently about it. But because I've been listening to it through, it goes like really soft and, like you said, a bit sensual. And then you get this like, for a while, actually, when I was hearing it, I was like, oh yeah, this is that one Hectic. And it's feeling a bit hectic, and it's feeling like there's loads of noise around me, and it doesn't really fit. So that's cool that he's done that. And then I opened it up, and I was like, no, this is not Hectic. This is Change Part 2. Oh, right. And then I listened to Hectic, and Hectic's got that really beautiful line about, like, today was hectic, it wasn't romantic. And I was like, oh, that's such a good line. Hectic's really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Change Part 2, get gone. Too noisy.
I like it.
Too noisy.
I think the lyrics are really nice.
Yeah, the lyrics are, and bear in mind we've not done a full lyrics review.
No.
The snippets of the lyrics are nice, but also the snippets.
That one is all in English, so you can understand them.
But they're also quite sad.
Yeah, definitely.
The boy's been hurt, and I don't want that. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know.
But he's like angry.
It's not about me, but it's about someone who hurt our boy, and you can go in the bin. Yeah. Don't want it.
Fair enough. All right.
Oh, favourites.
Yes.
Right, go favourite.
Oh God.
None.
I don't know, because I had an idea and then Christine said something and I'm like, oh yeah, shit.
Go on, what was it?
Okay, just talk us through your process.
So like, are we gonna go with number one? Because I'm like, yeah, she's lovely, like she's gorgeous. And that's one that like sticks out, and I can like, I like the actual, I like the feature on it. I like the actual, because that's the thing actually. I don't think I'm loving the features.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
The difference obviously between mono and this one.
It's like, all these other randos.
It's like get the RM. Don't release an album and it not be in it. Like, come on. Like, it's your album.
All so these randos.
Like, it's like, yeah, with this person, and it's like, oh God. Like, I don't mind a producer, but like, don't sing on it as well. But,
that's really beautiful, actually. That's really nice that you want the purity of just June.
Yeah, just like all the rest of them, it's like
what are you doing here?
He raps in mono, and he does a vocal in mono, and he does everything in mono. So it's like, yeah, with this, he's like, oh, I'll get it to you because you might be able to make it feel better. And it's like, well, I don't know who this person is. I know you.
I believe in you, RM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you said about Closer, and then Paul Blanco, and I'm like, oh yeah, actually, you were pretty decent. So then it's like, well, who do I choose? Do I choose her or him? Or the fact that like I might like her music, or I might like his music if I look into it. But
you should go with your instinct.
And the two Just RM songs are
terrible.
No,
terrible.
You said you really like Lonely.
I do like Lonely.
Rather pick Lonely.
No, but then like I feel like lyrics is like, alright, we get it. Like you're in an hotel room and just like on your own, and it's like I don't like these buildings. I want to go home. Like go.
He can!
He cannot!
He's going to fucking do PTD Las
Well, then
Vegas!
what he does is obviously he checks into like some Korean woman's house on Airbnb. He don't go to some
He's
Americanized.
alright, you can't.
He
He has
can! He's got a schedule!
Yeah, like he must know. He must have. His man must know someone that's like gone back
No.
to America. Like there's so many people like could.
Honestly,
You can't have the security.
But the thing is, like, you can be obviously he's at the hotel with the members and everything.
Mm.
You can be lonely even if there aren't, even if there are people there who you can hang out with. Like, I think that's what he's
like,
getting at. But okay,
Fine,
you need to
moving
just
on.
do something.
Pick a favourite if you can.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid.
I think Yun.
Okay,
Yun's good.
Yun is good. Yes, glad Yun got a shout. Okay, do you
Yun
wanna
is
go
really good.
Next, or should I go next? Do you want to go last as
Yeah.
the RM bias?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will go last.
Okay, so my favorite is Closer. Yeah, I think it was close between Yun and Wildflower. No, not Yun. Closer and Wildflower. I think those were the two I was between. But I really like Closer. I like both of the features really good. And like when the female vocal does the like opening to it, I feel it most in the nighttime, that kind of thing. And then RM goes like, yeah, I feel it most in the nighttime. I'm like, oh yeah, this is so good.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
What are you feeling?
I feel that really,
Sorry, I just hit her.
yeah.
Like, stop feeling about RM.
It was not sexy feelings. It's
Good.
You know, it's like the female vocal obviously is about like feeling like you can't get close enough to someone even though they're like lying right next to you. That's what I interpreted it as. Because like if she says, I feel it most of the nighttime that I can't get close enough to you, even though that's when I'm closest to you. I haven't read all the lyrics, but it sounds like to me it's someone who like you don't see a lot and you maybe only see them at night. Like that's the only time your schedules will allow you to sort of be together. But then during that time you're like, and I don't know whether it's like a distance thing, whether like if it's because you don't see them as much or whether it's like an emotional distance type thing, because you know you're close but like you could be closer. And then she does the bit about being like underneath your skin. So
I really thought it was about long distance. I said this with this chat before.
yeah, but I think it's both a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like an emotional distance. It'd be hard to, like I said about the sort of friend thing and forgetful, it'd be hard to relate to him, right? Like if say he dated someone from like a girl band, like they've not been on the scale of BTS successful, they might not write, they might not be the leader, like that kind of thing. So it's sort of hard to relate to him on all of the levels and all the personas that he sort of has to take on.
It must be so hard to relate to him.
So
Even
I
if
think,
you are a famous rapper.
and if you are like with him, I sort of imagine it being like, you know, he's got a lot in his head a lot of the time, and a lot of the time when he's like talking even to Army about feeling like sad or lonely or confused or whatever, then you know you want to relate to him, but like you can't because you're not going through what he's going through. You can sympathize, but you can't necessarily always relate. So I think that's sort of where that song brings me.
Yeah,
I really like it, and I like both the features. Both have really nice voices. So yeah.
Yeah, you're wrong about lonely. You are right. You're right. I think mine is Wildflower.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's because I don't think it is the MV because actually, sorry, I mean, Aaron Bice says I've only watched the MV once.
Okay.
We've just not had the
The time, yeah.
We watched it in the morning and then I listened to it when I've had the time around. But
Yeah.
then when we sat down back with the TV, we watched the content, right?
Yeah.
So I
watched
don't
it
think it
twice.
is because of the MV, but I feel like that really powerful female vocal, it just soothes me so much.
Yeah.
And like the sort of back and forth on it with him coming in and then her coming in, and then this whole concept about growing in a safe and sustainable way. I think it's something that's really resonating with where I'm at the minute, especially when you're trying to like throw down roots to enable you to keep growing after you've had this big change.
Yeah.
I think that's why I felt like it's the right one for the lead track as well. But you're right about Closer. And they're all so good.
They're really good.
They're all so good.
Alright, should we very quickly give it a grade because we need to get
grade.
going.
Right, Natasha, do it. Whip it off.
Yeah. It's an initial grade.
Initial grade.
Initial grade. Yeah, we have to do our big lyrics exploration and then come back to you. But initial grade. Go ahead.
I think Jack in the Box, comparing it to this one, just these two, Jack in the Box is probably potentially a bit more vibey to me. So then I'm like, but like I can't be like an arsehole to him. So I'm like, you know what? Obviously it's initial. We're gonna come back to it. So I'm just gonna stick with 2.5.
Fuck off! Get out of my house.
Because, like, you know, it's I feel like if I get it more, I'd be an arsehole, and if I get it less, I'd be an arsehole. So
You are an arsehole!
I'm just gonna stick with 2.5. That's it. End it.
Okay.
Indigo 2.5.
Oh god. Okay.
The pinnacle of this boy's career. 10 years.
And he put
10 years of
everybody
his-
else on it except himself.
He is on it. He is on it. But he wanted to give the message in a meaningful way. Oh god.
The
Okay.
most intelligent man lays out his heart and soul in 10 tracks that he's been working on for 4 years.
Yeah.
And
2.5.
2.5. 2.5 out of 7, not out of 5.
No.
You like it less than Too Cool for School, as much as you liked Jack in the Box. Fine. I was not prepared for that. I thought you were going to give it 3.5. I'd prepared emotionally for 3.5 when you nearly gave it a 2.
Yeah.
Like, my stomach is like, it's dropped so far down.
Most of the score is
hurt me
probably
so
to
bad.
the like
The features.
no to the design of the album.
Mm.
Okay, like that.
Design on point. Right, okay.
Design photography, great.
Yeah.
They're lucky they've got that, right? Or else,
Yeah.
refusing to score it over here. Christine,
That brought it to a 2. No.
do you know what we scored Jack in the Box? I can't remember.
I recorded 6.5. So that's what it
6.5.
was.
Fine. Christine?
Yeah, I thought a lot about it, and I think I really wanted to give it the 7, but then I think maybe
You've been giving out the 7s like there's no tomorrow. You don't
I
have enough.
know. Well, I do have all the 7s that I want, frankly. I wanted to give it a 7, but then I think because I really love it, and I think it's a very beautiful piece of art, but then I think I haven't had enough time to sort of sit with the songs and sort of find out how I feel about them on shuffle. And that's not about like the lyrics or the meaning or anything, but just like how you feel when a song comes on, right? When you're like, oh, I really like this song, or like it gets you excited, like, yes, I get to listen to this song, or like whether you're like, oh, this song. So until I sort of know how I feel about that, I probably wouldn't be right to give it a 7.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm gonna stick with 6.5.
Yeah, similar to Jack in the Box. I think that's very well reasoned. It's a 7. It's a 7 from me. Even though the concept lacked, even though I expected more from the concept. Not more. I expected different from the concept.
Right.
But maybe that's not what I needed at that time. We should trust Junie and what he's given me. I think it's a 7 for me because also the mono journey that I've been able to go on these last couple of weeks, and with Bicycle dropping on Spotify, I've been really in my RM feels. And then it was just so well done. It's so sonically cohesive. It's, like you said, it's introspective. It's a real look into some of that.
Yeah.
Those complexities that he deals with, some of that pain that he's got. But also then, even though he's got all of these features, which I'm only letting you off the hook, Natasha, because you're like, the features are what are dragging it down. I think the features have added to it, and I think he's worked hard on those features, and they're completely within his, I want this person. Yeah. It should sound like this, and it will be this person.
He kept saying he did well in that.
There's only one person on it.
I read with Variety. He was like, yeah. So these were the topics, and there was no number 2 pick.
There was no number 2 pick, so we asked them, and they said yeah, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I just, for me, I feel like it's just so well done, and it's just so beautiful and warm and soft and comforting, and like we're getting into winter.
We're already into December.
Getting into winter. I'm going for a breakup. Like it's just arrived right on time. It's at current giving me one of the few bits of joy available, and for that the boy gets a 7.
Fair enough. All right, I think we need to wrap up there because
so we can kill Natasha.
Yeah, that too.
Natasha will not be featuring on the next episode.
She's not going to go back to you, actually. Okay, so I guess all that remains to be said is if you want to follow us on social media, we recently joined all of the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Yep, so on Instagram and TikTok, it's at Generation BTS _ and YouTube it's just Generation BTS.
Oh,
and
nice.
Email is generationbts all the albums at gmail.com.
Yeah, so if
Get
you
in
want to
touch.
get in touch and also hit on Natasha, that would be very welcome from the rest of us. Or if you agree, then obviously, yeah, you can...
If you agree, just email Natasha
yeah.
directly. Don't message us, because
Just go
we're deleting
FYI Natasha. I hate Indigo.
Sorry, we're on the little Indigo hate group. We're at the Indigo listening party. I want to organise a listening party event. You're
Okay. Well, if we organise an
blacklisted.
event, we can share the info. But thanks for listening, and thanks for listening to Indigo. Please stream it.
Please keep streaming.
Stream. And I've been Christine.
I've been Leanne.
I've been Natasha, and we have been
Generation BTS. Goodbye.